So here, in terms of the practice itself, at page number 7. So it starts with the visualizations. The practice of visualizations. One, it helps to concentration, Of course, there are many different objects of cultivating concentration using the different objects. Breath could be one of the objects that you can use for concentration practice. You can use the nature of your mind as the object of concentration, but especially in Vajrayana practice, they use the image of the Buddha, the visualization as the object of concentrations, So one purpose is to develop stronger concentrations, but also the other is when you are able to visualize the image, sometimes it helps us to feel connected and feel the presence of the beings. If you don't have the image, sometimes for some people they might feel difficulty feeling the presence of that Buddhas, even though they are everywhere. They are not restrained by like our bodies. Enlightened beings are not restrained by our physical bodies. Their enlightened mind is everywhere. And wherever the enlightened mind is there, they are there. It's just that we are unable to feel the presence of them. So visualization helps us. When you visualize, then it helps us to feel the presence of them. By feeling the present, then we feel the connection. And so one of another reason is also for that reasons, especially like this practice. So that is why you have done why we do visualization. What is the purpose of visualization? So there can be different reason why we do visualization, especially like such this practice, really feel the presence of the being there, and some people naturally can visualize easily. Some people have more difficulties. Like certain people are, for example, also in other situations, some people are good at, cultivating compassions, kindness. Some people find difficult. Some people find easy to understand emptiness, the wisdom path. Some people struggles to understand. So there are different qualities and different practices. Some of us might find more easy and some might struggle a little bit more. But if you train, everyone can get good at that after the time. Someone who finds difficult at the moment with the training, over the time, it will become more easy to them. It's for sure. But when in this first practice, when you do visualizations, if your visualization is not clear at the very beginning, you don't have to worry about that. You just try to visualize, imagine as it is described, and think that it is there as it is described, even though you cannot see clearly, but feeling the presence of them is there. It's like from distance, when you see someone there, but there's no clarity who that person, how he or she looks, but there's a presence of someone there. That is good enough. Of course, as we train and as our visualization better and better, then not only you see there is someone there and you feel the presence of them, but you are able to see all the details and know exactly who that person is clearly. That can be achieved over the time with the practice. But in such at the very beginning, because oh, I cannot visualize so well, and so you shouldn't be worried about that, especially when you're doing such practice. Okay, that is the one thing. Uh, of course, if you are using such as visualization, the object of the image of the Buddha as a object to develop concentrations, then you know, um, if I'm getting distracted, uh, uh, um, to go more detail in that. Um, Maybe at the moment I will just leave it there and see later. Um, so then here visualizing, it says about 4 inch above crown of my head is the lotus flower. 4 inch is just a is not a definitive. It can be, higher than that. It can be it as long as you feel comfortable. You know, 4 inch is not like kind of you know strictly that it has to be 4 inch. It is just one example. It can be 5 inch, 6 inch, 8 inch. It could be 3 inches, but this is just we don't have to take it so literally each of them exactly. Okay, the main thing to visualize in front of you, the space. Okay. And the lotus flowers, and you see in most of the visualizations, lotus flower, sun and moon days or the cushions, sometimes lotus and moon cushions, sometimes 3 cushions, sometimes 2 cushions. In 2 cushions, sometimes lotus and the moon. 3 cushions, you see lotus, sun and moon, or lotus, moon and sun. Depending on what kind of deity. It's generally, if it's a peaceful deity, then lotus, sun and moon in terms of three. It's more wrathful deity, then lotus, moon and sun. On the top is the sun. You see the yellowish orange. And when it's a peaceful deity, on the top is the white and the moon. And below that is the kind of the orange, the sun cushion. So here, at the center of the lotus is one moon disk. So here two. Okay. And again, those symbolize different qualities, inner qualities. Here, lotus and the moon. The lotus symbolizes the wisdom, and the moon symbolizes the compassion, which the mind. And those symbolize the qualities that the Buddha endowed, the Buddha that you are imagining, medicine Buddha is endowed with those qualities. Sitting on top of that means they endow those qualities, they actualize those qualities. And also that is the quality that we want to actualize ourselves. That's the quality that we want to achieve, we want to actualize through such practice and other practices. So it is not just artistic. Do you get it? It's not just an artist to make it beautiful. There's much more significant than that. It's a beautiful artistic, but also there's much more significant meaning in that. It symbolizes those qualities that the Buddha that you imagine endow that, and also it symbolizes that we want to achieve that quality. And normally, lotus is associated with wisdom, because they say lotus grow in the mud, from the mud, but it is not dirt by the mud when it grows the flowers. Even though at the very beginning it comes from the mud. In the same way, when you have the wisdom, when you are able to develop the wisdom, then even you live in a very difficult environment. Sometimes if you one person will not be dirt or affected or polluted by those problems, those strains, because of your wisdom. You know, you can be surrounded by very angry people all the time, but that would not pollute you, not being able to pollute you because of your wisdom is able to keep it away. You might be surrounded by a lot of object of attachments all the time, but you will not be polluted by that to be influenced by the attachments because of those objects, because of your wisdom. You know. So when you have that wisdom, even you have wealth, power, reputation, you will be not, kind of taken away by that. Whereas when you don't have that wisdom, then once you started to have that, then you start to become someone else, sometimes. So that is because you have been polluted by the power, polluted by the wealth, polluted by the pain, you know. But when you have wisdom, that wisdom keep you away from being polluted by them and able to keep you on the path, the right. And the moon symbolizes the compassion or the bodhicitta because the moon has this energy of cooling down. In the evening when the moon comes, then it kind of cool down, cooling energies. And so that loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta has this energy of cooling, the ego, the selfish attitude, the ego, And so that is why the moon symbolizes that. When there is a three cushion, lotus, sun, and the moon, then the lotus symbolize the renunciations, the sun symbolize the wisdom, and the moon symbolize the compassion, the bodhicitta mind. So, in that changes, the wisdom is the sun that dispel the darkness. The light of the sun dispel the darkness. In the same way, the wisdom dispel the darkness of ignorance. And the compassion in that case is so depending on two cushions or three cushions, something like that. But we have to understand that what moon is. And seated on the moon disk is the my root guru. And the deity change here, different deity, but the general practice is the general framework of practice is same. It could, instead of medicine Buddha, when you do Tara practice, it is Tara or Avalokiteshvara or Manjushri, but actually the general practice is same. Once you know one practice very well, then it is easy to apply to all the other practice. So it's my root guru, In essence, we try to visualize in essence is our root guru. If you don't have any guru, you don't have to worry about that. You don't, so they want to visualize, or whom to visualize, or you feel that you are missing something. You don't have to, you just think, your own Dharmakaya wisdom is your root guru. So in the end, your own Dharmakaya wisdom is the guru. That is the real guru. That's the ultimate guru. That is whom you can rely on, your ultimate wisdom. But since we don't have access to that ultimate wisdom at the moment, we rely on some external teachers, guru, to help us to develop that our own ultimate wisdom. And then once we have ultimate wisdom, then that becomes our actual real Buddha, Dhammakaya Buddha, to whom we can rely on. So if you don't have any kind of, external guru, then you don't have to worry, or then, you can also think your own, but if you have a actual guru, then you visualize the root guru. In essence, that the deity is the root guru, okay? Um, the root guru can manifest in different forms, and so here in the manifestation of medicine Buddha. And that's in the, especially because in such practice, what we try to learn is we try to see, when you see the Buddha, we try to see is the manifestation of the Guru in this form. When we see the form of the Guru actually itself in the ordinary form, we try to see, oh, this is the manifestation of the medicine Buddha in this form. So training to see them inseparable one. And when you are able to, if you are able to see it, then again, as I mentioned at the very beginning this morning, you are able to receive more. If you see that person as ordinary, then you receive very little. If you are able to see that person more enlightened than that ordinary, you receive little more. If you see that person more highly developed bodhisattva, you receive more. If you're able to see that as a fully enlightened being, you receive more. How much blessing you receive, how much you get inspired, how much you receive the blessings. More than from that side, it also depends on from your side how open you are. So, even in the Buddha's own time, there are a lot of disciples who saw him experience as a Buddha, and they received so much from Buddha's blessings, from inspirations, all of that transformed their life, that helped them to progress in their path, not only progress very quickly in that path, but also there were beings who were around Buddha who couldn't see him as a Buddha. They just see him as ordinary another being. And even the Buddha was there, even he was giving all this teaching, instruction, they couldn't receive anything. It didn't change their mind. It couldn't transform their mind. Instead, they become jealousy with the Buddha and competing with the Buddha, trying to harm the Buddha, such as his own cousin Devadatta. Devadatta was very jealous of the Buddha. Even when they both were in the kingdom, before Buddha left kingdom and became a monk, followed that path. Because Buddha was the crown prince, so he got more attention. He was the guy who was going to be the king, and his cousins was also royal, but he didn't get the same attention, so he was always feeling he was less than him, and so he had some kind of jealousy about Buddha. Then after Buddha became a monk, and in this path, Devadatta also tried to follow that path. But again, because Buddha being fully enlightened, all the followers were following him and kind of inspired by him, and that Devadatta didn't get as much attention as Buddha was getting. But again, he was jealous, and he was always jealous. And then, because of that, he tried to create, divisions among the sanghas, among the Buddha's followers. There are times that he planned to hurt the Buddhas with many different schemes, one time throwing the rocks, releasing the white elephants and different things, Um, so his At the same time, at the time of the Buddha, but because his mind is not open, his mind is totally closed, he couldn't receive those lessons, relations, where other disciples, students were able to receive. It's the same Buddha. It wasn't Buddha had less compassion to Devadatta and he had more compassion to the others. Buddha had even more compassion for him because of he was creating a lot of negative karma. So in terms of compassion, equal compassion, if not more. And he was taking same, but still he couldn't receive, not because Buddha was not helping, trying to help, not helping, but because his mind was closed. When your mind was closed with that kind of negative mind, jealousy, uh, you know, um, you know, unhealthy doubt, and all of that, then you cannot receive it. You know? And so that is why in such practice, we try to see the guru as the manifestations or inseparable from the Buddha himself, so that we can receive more. We are able to receive. When you are listening to teaching, you receive more. It becomes a nectar, soothing your mind. Otherwise, it doesn't become. It comes here and goes from here. You are listening to the teachings. You are listening to the instructions. You are there, but the teachings just come here and go from here. It doesn't sink. It doesn't become transformative. It becomes too dry. It doesn't become very, transformative. And a lot of time is not. It's because of our mind, our own mind, how open we are, how open we are not. So therefore, this is a training. It's a training, seeing that so that we can receive more, that we get the maximum benefit, that we receive more, our mind become more soft, more open, our mind become more soft, more open, more spacious. When our mind is more soft, more open, more spacious, you are able to digest, receive more. It's like, the soil that has been soft, and when it rains, then it grows. But when the soil is too hard, even it rains, it doesn't help the plant to grow. The soil needs to be soft, conducive. Is that it's not different rain, okay? It's not that one actually really deep penetrate into the ground and it actually helped the plant to grow. One, it didn't penetrate in the ground, it just goes away, wash away, because the soil is too hard. Is it different rain? No, it's the same water, same rain. But why is that one is really penetrating and really help to grow the plant and the others didn't? Because the soil, the soil was suitable, soft to receive the rain, and one was the um, the soil was too hard. It is not soft for the water to go in and penetrate. Are we clear? That's the same. That is not only outside, it's the same inside. The more our minds soft, spacious, open, the more we are able to receive and become penetrating and transformative, you know. Um, yeah, instead of becoming just kind of. And so yeah, in order to create that kind of spacious, open, receptive, you know, conditions and one of the practice is that to see both, So my root guru, the Dhammakaya essence of all the Buddhas, mm, in the form of medicine Buddha. So here, in terms of the form, actual form is the medicine Buddha, but in essence is the root guru, and the root guru itself is which embody all the Buddha's Dhammakaya wisdom. So by doing that, we see all the Buddhas in medicine Buddha in the Guru. So it's not like the medicine Buddha is different from the Tara, separate and different from the Avalokiteshvara, different from the Manjushiris and Buddha Shakyamuni all, but to be able to see them all in one, to be able to see all the Buddhas in one. And is important, and in essence, they all are one. I think it was Maitreya in one of his writings. I think the ornament of the sutra, he give an example of different rivers that come from different sources, different mountains. They have different sources where it comes from, different part of the mountain from different part. And in the end, they all go to the oceans. They all mix. They all become inseparable one. And whatever come from that ocean is the inseparable of all this water from all these rivers. Same way, we all have individual beginning of path, individual path, beginning of path, just like the different sources of the river. But once we achieve the fully enlightened state, like the ocean, then all these enlightened beings become inseparable one. It's all in essence one, inseparable, but different manifestations, different form for different functionings according to the needs of different sentient beings. So in the same oceans, then some of them maybe a little salty water, some of them less salty, the waters, depending on that. But and each of those waters have different, maybe slightly different, what you call, minerals and different things. Some maybe certain animals can sustain, and some they cannot sustain due to some other conditions, and then, and similar like that, then the Buddhas. And so here also, we visualize the medicine Buddha, okay, but at the same time, understanding and having a conviction, this medicine Buddha encompasses all the Buddha. It is in essence, is the root guru in that form, and that root guru which encompasses all the Buddhas, inseparable from all the Buddhas. So this kind of training is we apply that all other practice, all the daily practice. All the daily practice is the same. In some of the visualization, they describe more clearly. In some, they don't describe clearly because it's shorter and like that. But always is the main structure of the essence is the same practice. Same. So that's what. And the medicine Buddha, they say, is both Vajrayana and Sutra as well. Medicine Buddha is not only mentioned in the Vajrayana, but also in the Sutra, non-Vajrayana, but just Sutra also there's a mention of Buddha's practice, medicine Buddha practice. And there's also the medicine Buddha Sutra itself, Mm. So then, yeah. Okay. In terms of the color of the medicine Buddha, is blue in color. No, sometimes medicine Buddha is known as king of um, the love is light, king of the doctor. You know, so the color of the medicine Buddha is like love is light. You know, that semi precious gems color of that, and it also symbolize just by the color itself. Also, it symbolize healing. In Asia, in Eastern Asia, there is a understanding belief that love is loosely as the property of healing, you know, and I think they use for medicine and other things for healing, you know, so it has that healing property, and that and so also the color of the Buddha is similar that the color of lapis lazuli, blue, again symbolizing the healing energy. His body radiates blue light, you know. When we train to visualize any Buddha, any deity, we try to visualize the Buddha, okay, or the deity, um, not like a flag, like the tangas, you know, but three-dimensional, like the statues, you know, the drawing, the painting, that the pictures are flat, you know, whereas statues are more like three-dimensional. So we try to visualize like a, a lot, but also not like a statue which is not alive, but we try to visualize someone being alive. Okay, that is one thing. Secondly, also we try to visualize when we visualize baby, not a solid physical body like ours, but light body, you know, like a rainbow body, like a light, like a rainbow body is very light, you know, like light, very light rainbow, not some kind of solid like that with our physical where you have all these solids. So that is one thing we try to, when we practice the visualization and all of them, we try to do that. Uh, light at the same time, heavy, you know, light in the sense that is not so solid, you know, like the rainbow, but but heavy in a sense that it doesn't, it's not like the feather. When the wind blow, it blow easily here and there. It just stay there long time. Because if it's not heavy, and if you think visualize and it's moving around, your concentration moves. Do you get it? Because your mind follow that, you know. If the Buddha started to move around, your mind also started to move around with that. So then it doesn't help to develop strong concentration just to keep there. And so that is why also light at the same time it is a kind of heavy that it doesn't move like it. So that is why here it says radiate blue lights, you know, you visualize. Um, so then in terms of posture, you know, and his right hand in the motor of grinding sublime, you know, this is the motor of grinding sublime realizations. So rest on his right knee, like if you see the pictures of the Buddha, yes, so you can see here. No. on the right knee in the sublime. Also, you can see on the cover of that too. Both you can see that. Um, yeah, also the medicine Buddha here. We have rest on his right knee, hold a stem of Arura plant between the thumb and the first finger. So Arura is a medicinal plant, you know, again, symbolizing healing. What he holds is that Arura medicinal plant, which symbolize again healing, you know, which shows is the healing energy. His left hand in a mudra of concentration. So it's like here, the mudra of concentration. Either both hands together or one hand, you know. By your navel. Holds a largely ball, and so the ball is made of loosely, again symbolizing healing. Because as I mentioned that semi-precious gem has that healing property, and the ball filled with nectar, you know, and so the ball filled with nectar to cure and to heal, you know, the moment you experience, you taste the nectar, then it completely cure and heal whatever physical, emotional, mental illness. And also in most of the also some description, also in that bowl in nectar, also there is the medicine plant. So sometimes you will see there on the bowl, you can see the medicine plant as coming. Inside is the nectar, also the medicinal plant, or symbolize the healing. Mm. He is seated in terms of his posture of leg. He's seated in a full Vajra position, both legs, cross. And in terms of what he's wearing, the cloth, wearing the three red color robes of monk. Here I have only two colors. Normally, when you have certain bigger ceremony, then you have another one on top of this one, with much more stripe. And that one's only for full ordination, full ordained one. This one can be worn by even a novice. We call Chogo. The other one is Namja. And that one is only for those fully ordained bhikshus. And so with that, then it becomes three colors rocks. That's what it means. Okay. We call this Zen, Chogo, and on top of that, then there is the what we call Namja. He had all the signs and quality of Buddhas, physical sign of enlightened beings, internal sign of enlightened beings, external signs of enlightened beings, then as Maitreya described in ornament of the clear realizations, 32 major marks and 80 minor signs of enlightened beings, in the physical, like having a wheel on the hand and also on the feet, and so that's why you see in the Buddha's footprint, there's a wheel there in the middle, if you have seen some of those Buddha's footprint in the pilgrimage in India or the different places, you will see the wheat on his foot. When that is one of the sign of enlightenment. But okay, don't try to do surgery to create that. Okay, to show that you are enlightened being. Just joking. Okay. So yeah, if you are more interested, then you can study in materials writing that it describe all of them and different practice virtues, which are the cause of each of those uh, major or minor enlightened signs. And of course, internally, those are the external, you know, and then there is also the enlightened signs in terms of the speech and the mind. In terms of the mind, then there's no more obscurations. Not only no more obscuration and delusion, but also there's no more obscuration of subtle obscurations of the knowledge, free from all the obscurations, having actualized, perfected, completed all the inner positive qualities, to be able to understand both reality, conventional and ultimate reality simultaneously by the same consciousness, simultaneously at the same time, like one consciousness, having unconditional, unconditional, unbiased, limitless love, compassion, both to the mind, and the wisdom relies on all the object there is to be realized. And there are certain unique qualities of Buddha's mind, such as unmistakable 18 qualities, and we don't need to go each of them, 10 powers, and so on, So those are some of the external, internal signs and qualities of the Buddha. So you try to think that. So at the visualization, as we can see, and also you can visualize gradually, his face, long ears like Buddha, curved hair, dark blues, Ushnisha on the top, like the same like Buddha Shakyamuni. It's just, and then, narrow, long eyes, slightly open, slightly closed, looking with that compassionate eyes, smiling slightly. So you can go all details, and how posture and that. And once you have gone through that, then you just try to keep the general image of that, And so maybe before you go to each of details, after going each of the details, then you have the general image of that Buddha. And now when you have general image of the Buddha, you might not see all the details, but don't worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. So you just try to keep the general image, and as I mentioned at the very beginning, it is the present of the being there. Present of the medicine Buddha here. So that is the general visualizations at the very beginning, and taking refuge generally in Bodhicitta, as you might have noticed in all the Buddhist, all the practice you find, it all starts with that. All the sadhana, all the different practices related with different deities always start with that. And we start with refuge because it's a Buddhist practice. And whether you are Buddhist or not is whether you have refuge or not. If you go to refuge, the Buddha Dharma Sangha, then Buddhist. If you don't have refuge, if you don't go refuge Buddha Dharma Sangha, then you are not a Buddhist. So because it's a Buddhist practice, so we start the refuge by going Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Not only is a Buddhist practice, but it's because Mahayana practice, Bodhisattva practice, so we try to have Bodhicitta motivations. That is why refuge in Bodhicitta. Because it is not only Buddhist practice, but it's a Mahayana Bodhisattva practice. What makes Bodhisattvas separate or different from the non-Bodhisattvas, such as Arhat, is that the Bodhicitta mind. The Bodhicitta mind. In terms of wisdom realizing emptiness directly, wisdom realizing impermanent nature directly, all these qualities, all this wisdom, both Bodhisattvas have, also the Arhat also have. For those who are on the path to the Arhat, those Arhat, they all have this wisdom. So, it's common practice. It's a common realizations and common practice, those wisdom. So what makes unique practice of the Bodhisattvas apart from the Arhat, is the Bodhicitta mind. And therefore, the Bodhicitta mind is the very heart of the Mahayana and the Bodhisattva practice. It's the very heart, very unique, very essence, very heart of the Bodhisattva's practice. And because of that, so that is why one try to generate the Bodhicitta intention motivations. And while we decide that, this prayer here of refuge in Bodhicitta, it's not just reciting, you try to feel it, You really, while you recite, one of the masters, one of the great Tibetan masters, I think it's Dong Tempe Drome, even though I cannot recall it. I'm not 100% sure, but one of that great master says, prayers such as this practice, like I go to refuge Buddha Dhamma Sangha until I achieve enlightenment by the practice of generosity and so forth, may I achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all. Such practice or prayers, or such as for immiscible and so forth, those prayers that we recite are tool. It's just like a tool to really feel. The main meaning is to feel that. He used an example like someone who needs the help of cane to walk. It's like the cane, the words, the prayers that we recite, the words are like the cane. The main thing is to be able to walk, isn't it? That's the thing. Cane is not the main one. The main is to be able to walk, and you rely on the cane to help you to walk. And same way, in order to contemplate, meditate, and feel those feelings, such as a refuge and bodhicitta mind. So sometimes when we rely on such words and prayer, it helps. It's tools that help. This is again, we have to understand how the prayers work. Sometimes it's just reciting is not the main one. If you really meditate on refuge and bodhicitta, you don't even have to recite it. You can recite it, you don't have to recite it, it's okay. The main thing is to really cultivate refuge to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha by seeing here the medicine Buddha, and you try to see medicine Buddhas as the Buddha Dhamma Sangha all in one. Okay? When we visualize what we call refuge field, the refuge to whom we go, there are many different ways of visualizing it. And one of the most simple ways we go Kunun, which compasses all in one, is that you visualize the medicine Buddha, and you try to see the medicine Buddha's body, is the Sangha. His speech is the Dharma. His mind is the Buddha. So seeing Buddha, Dharma, Sangha all in one. In some other, when you're more extensive, then you visualize, medicine Buddha surrounded by many other Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Aha, Daga, Dagini, all that, and then, scriptures in front of them, so then that is how but when you try to make it keep it more simple, easy, then you try to see all in one. Here, in these cases, you visualize just only one Buddha, medicine Buddha, but you see Buddha, Dharma, Sangha in all in that. And through that understanding, seeing that, then you try to go in refuge. Heartfelt refuge. Not just reciting the word and without any feelings. As I mentioned it. If you can feel it, even you don't recite the word, is not a big deal. The reciting the word is just a tool, as I said, it's just a tool, to help us keep it. And same with the bodhicitta, you try to generate the motivations to do this practice. The reason why you are doing this practice is in order to be able to help and benefit all sentient beings to free from their all sufferings, cause of suffering permanently, and to help them to reach true ultimate happiness. And in order to do that, we need to achieve fully awakened state, our highest potential. Otherwise, you can help, but there's only limited help we can do to others. It doesn't mean we cannot help others if you are not fully enlightened. Even if you are not fully enlightened, you can still help. And you should try to help whenever possible, whenever opportunity arises, whenever you are able to help. But still the help we try to do will be limited. Limited help to limited beings. But if we can achieve fully awakened state, our highest potential, then you will be able to help limitlessly, to limitless sentient beings with the limitless skills, means, wisdom, according to the needs of each and every individual sentient being. If we don't have that wisdom, that skillful means, sometimes we have the wish to help, we try to help, sometimes it doesn't become helpful. The wish is there, it's the best intention is there, good intention is there, but sometimes unable to help. Sometimes not only unable to help, sometimes we mess up. Not because we want to mess up, but because we didn't have the skills, the wisdom, how to do it correctly. So to be able to help them, then we have to have those skills, the wisdom, understand what they really want, what they really need. At the moment, we cannot understand what they really need, want, and then we think maybe this is what they want and they need, and then we try to do, and then it turned out that wasn't what they want, needs, and then it doesn't. And so that's the bodhicitta mind. So in order to help to liberate all sentient beings from all their suffering, cause of suffering, and help them to achieve the ultimate happiness, then you realize I have to become fully awakened myself. And then you develop, you cultivate a wish to achieve that fully awakened state, fully enlightened state, so you can be greatest help benefit to each and every sentient being. That's the bodhicitta mind. That is the Bodhisattva mind. The wish to achieve that fully awakened state, driven by or induced by the greatest loves and compassions to all sentient beings. So again, if you can feel that through contemplation, meditation, how much effort it takes, maybe it might take 10 minutes, 15 minutes to really contemplate, feel it. For some, maybe it might take them maybe 20 minutes, some maybe 15, some 10 minutes, maybe some even within the 5 minutes, they can really feel it. So with that motivations, and in order to achieve that fully awakened state, then, we need to engage in the practice. Just having the wish to achieve doesn't lead you anywhere. It's the beginning, but as Shandeva mentioned, if you want to go to the city to do the shopping, first you need to have the wish to go there. Okay? But it's not enough. You have the wish to go, but if you never go there, you will not be able to do the shopping and not be able to accomplish what you want to do. Then you need to go. In the same way, the bodhisattva, aspiring bodhisattva, the wish to achieve that enlightenment. But in order to achieve that enlightenment, then you have to actually start going in that path and through the practice of such as six perfections, the practice of generosity, the practice of moral discipline, the practice of patience, the practice of joyous effort in virtue, the practice of meditative concentration, the practice of wisdom, and so forth. The 6 paramita or 10 paramitas, those are the actual practice the bodhisattvas engage into to reach that destinations. And so that is the whole meaning of this prayer. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, the Sangha. By my practice of giving, the generosity, and other perfections, such as moral discipline, and so forth, or whatever practice was, such as the meditations, such as the practice of medicine Buddha itself, whatever form of virtues or practice you engage in, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. So I thought maybe before we do the practice, I will open for some questions, because I think we haven't had any time for questions the whole day. So maybe it might be better if anyone has any questions. I can see. Yes, please.
I sometimes do medicine Buddha and Tonglen together. Is that a good idea, or should I keep them separate? I use the medicine Buddha mantra.
Oh, you did totally wrong.
Yeah.
How did that happen? No, you can combine for sure. Sure, you can do online practice while you do the medicine Buddha for sure. Maybe, yeah, you could do a little bit of visualization at the very beginning, and then in the middle, you can do the online practice while you recite the mantras. So for sure, you can do that with any other deities. You can combine that online practice with any of them. Yeah, so absolutely. Yes, I'm coming there. I know all. There are many questions. Yes, please. Yeah.
What is the difference in essence between Vajrasattva, purification, and medicine Buddha? And then one request, please, can you explain Tonglen? Give us a little Tonglen practice.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Vajrasattva is specifically for purification in general, the functioning of that. Medicine Buddha is more specific, even though, again, as I mentioned at the very beginning, because in essence all the Buddha are same, so it also has the function of many others, but more specifically, the manifestation of Buddha as a medicine, Buddha has manifested to cure or heal illness, um, whether it's physical, emotional, mental illness. So that is specific, more functioning of medicine Buddha, but it's not only that functioning, many others. And whereas Bodhisattva has more to do with the purification, more specifically, even though it has also other functions. So, yeah, so that's the difference between that in terms of difference. And Tonglen, the Tonglen practice, the Tonglen is a Tibetan term. Tong means sending or giving. Len means taking and giving. Aren't we good at taking and giving? So in this practice, to develop your sense of loving kindness, compassion, both in the mind, as well as to improve or develop self-confidence and courageous. So you do the Tonglen practice. So you take the suffering and cause of suffering of others on yourself. The sufferings, all the negative karmas, all the delusion, all the obscuration on your own self. So that is taking. What you take is others' sufferings and others' future possible cause of suffering, the negative karma, the delusion, obscuration. Taking and giving or sending is then whatever happiness or virtues, positive things, whatever you have, including your wealth, your own life, whatever you have, that can be help to someone by giving it. So you give, you send it then through the visualization, and of course, if we can do in actions, that is wonderful. Directly in actions, if you can actually take someone's problem on yourself, and you can actually give your wealth or happiness, whatever to them, it's wonderful. But even you cannot give in actually, at least you can train your mind to do that through the practice. And by training that way, at the moment, we don't have courage. We're afraid to give. We're afraid to take someone's problem on ourselves. We are fearful of taking someone's problem on ourselves. We are fearful of taking someone's negative on ourselves. We're afraid. We don't have courage to take on that. We're afraid to give our virtues, our happiness, our wealth, because we feel if I give that, what will be left for me? If I need that, or if something happens in the future, I need that. So we have all this fear and worry that stop us from being able to help, give, and to be able to reach out and reduce other pain and by taking on ourselves. That is due to lack of courage and fear and that. So part of this practice is to overcome that kind of fear and worry and be more courageous. The willingness to take on other suffering and cause of suffering yourself. Training your mind to be willing to give your happiness, your virtues, your positive all to others. So that is part of training the mind, And so when we take the suffering and cause of suffering of yourself, and when we stand and give the happiness and cause of happiness to others, you can use the breath. When you breathe in, When you inhale or when you breathe in, you imagine and visualize taking all others' suffering and cause of suffering in the form of kind of black energy that come as you inhale um, with that breath, and then you can imagine destroying your selfish attitude in your heart, then transforming into loving kindness, compassion. And out of that loving kindness, compassion, then when you breathe out, you imagine and visualize sending all your wealth, all your even your body, all the virtues, all the happiness in the form of whatever they need, together with the light. In the moment that light, positive light energy, touch that person's, or being, they receive whatever they need. And so that is, and of course, that is more simple. There's a more extensive practice of that. Probably we don't need to go the extensive part, but that is more simple practice of that. Um, and it is also mentions, of course, we can do this Tonglen practice all the time. When you see someone in a pain, suffering, problems, sometimes we feel helpless. You want to do something, but you feel, what can I do? That feel like there's nothing I can do. It's helpless. Instead of feeling helpless, you can actually do that practice. You can actually do that practice. Taking on whatever pain, whatever sufferings, whatever difficulty that they are experiencing, that they are going through, take on yourself, and you send them the solution to their problems, whatever solution for that problem, the joy and happiness having solved the problem, and then a higher level of happiness. So one can do that on that basis. We can do the practice every time, especially when we feel someone in such situation, and you want to do something, you want to help something, then you can do those practice. Also, when you yourself are experiencing the challenges, problems, sufferings, whatever problem, challenges, whether it's physical health, whether it is emotional, mental, or whether it is we are dealing with relationship challenges, whether we are dealing with challenges in our job, financial situations, environment, whatever, we recognize what we are going through. We are aware and recognize that, what we are experiencing. And then with that awareness that you are aware of whatever pain, suffering, challenges, difficulties that you are going through, being aware and mindful of that, at the same time, instead of being stuck with yourself, why is it happening to me? It shouldn't happen to me. Did I do something wrong? Or, all this negative thought normally we have because of that problems. Instead, we recognize that, and then we let yourself to open your mind. Oh, I'm not the only one who's going through this. There are so many other beings who are experiencing similar or same challenges, pain, suffering, problems. I'm the not only one. There are so many others who are going through the same. Some of them much more worse than what I've gone through. So your pain helping you to recognize others' pain. Your pain helping us to recognize there are so many others who are also experiencing suffering and pain like yourself. Understand, feeling their pain, suffering. And because you are going through yourself, you might be able to relate more with them, those problem pain. And then develop a strong sense of compassion, loving kindness, wanting them to see them from free from that pain, suffering, because it's miserable, unbearable, as you have experienced yourself. So you know that what they are experiencing. Wishing them to be free from that wishing them to find the solution, their happiness, joy. And we out of that loving kindness, compassion, then you take on all their suffering and cause of suffering on yourself. And then you send all the happiness and cause of happiness to all of other things. So that is part of Dharma practice. At the very beginning, if we don't feel fearful and not confident to do this practice, fearful of doing practice, taking on suffering or others on yourself. If you have some kind of fear, then then more simplified or more easy way to do it by me experiencing whatever I'm experiencing, the pain, the problem, the challenges. May no one have to experience that. May I be able to experience on behalf of everyone, so nobody have to experience that. So in that way, we can try to change in something more positive. Help to down from it to understand and have empathy and compassion, understanding they have those suffering and you don't want to see that suffering. And thereby, by me experiencing that, whatever I'm experiencing, may no one have experience. May I be able to experience on behalf of that. That is what we do. Okay. But if you feel courageous, then not only you feel, may I be able to experience whatever on behalf, but I want more, give me more, come on, give me more, So in that sense, you check their suffering, cause of suffering yourself, and then you send and give happiness. So that is the Dharma practice. Yeah, and it can be very powerful practice. Yes, please.
I'll just ask,
Yeah.
I have a question about medicine Buddha, but on Tonglen, is it if you're feeling that fear about taking on visualizing other people's suffering, can you, I'm not sure if I remember this correctly, but somebody said once you can imagine like a white light or energy at your center that burns up that black energy as it comes to you and then transforms it or sends it back out. Is that appropriate?
Yeah, you can do that. There are a few different way of doing it, you visualize the selfish attitude in your heart in the form of dark, spot. And as you breathe in that negative dark energy, there's suffering in the form of that, then it destroys that selfish attitude. And then transform into something positive. That selfish attitude is transformed into loving kindness, compassion, and then out of the loving kindness, compassion, then you send. So that is one of the things, and also another slightly different visualization, but the essence is same. You visualize, as you said, the kind of white energy, and that dark energy come, and then that is able to down from that negative energy into positive, and then you send it back. In some also, according to some teachers, they also say, you visualize like a wish fulfilling job, and each time those negative, when you take that negative energy and they enter that like wish fulfilling job and transform into whatever the sentient being did, and then sending that, So they are slightly different visualization, but the essence is same, and so yeah.
Just one question about
Yes.
medicine Buddha. Do you imagine it in front, medicine Buddha in front of you, facing you, and then later moves to the top of your head, or do you keep visualization in the beginning?
It depends, normally you visualize in front of you. So for visualization is a little bit more easier for in front of you. is a little bit more difficult for certain people to visualize on top of the crown to, visualize clearly. But if you can visualize, then you can visualize from the very beginning on the crown is no problem. But normally, you visualize that in front of you, and then at the end of it, then it come on top of your crown, and then either it dissolve in the light and light dissolve into yourself, or the medicine Buddha dissolve into yourself in your heart.
So when you say at the end of it, do you mean the end of the
Practice after you do the the mantra recitation, how long we will do, and then after that, yes, please.
My sister is mentally and physically unwell, so how do we use the medicine Buddha practice to help someone?
Mm-hmm. Well, one, if they don't mind, it is good that you can recite the mantras loudly that they can hear. One thing. Sometimes you can play even the musics, the medicine Buddhas. You can find in YouTube or others. You can kind of keep on playing it. Especially there are some which are very soothing. With the music. Medicine Buddha, but with the music and very smoothly chanted. And sometimes that can also help people soothing their mind. Someone whose mind is disturbed, and that kind of music chanting can also help them to kind of be more calm, more peaceful. One can do that. And then, you can visualize, sometimes you can visualize the medicine Buddha on top of the persons, your sister or any other persons. And while you visualize the medicine Buddha, from the heart of the medicine Buddha, the guardians of the mantra, then, blue light energies flow and healing, cleansing, purifying, healing the illness, cleansing, purifying all the negative energies. That is the root, that is the cause of the illness and all the obscurations. So one can do that. Either one can visualize on top of your someone, or you can visualize at your heart. If you can, the moon disk, on top of the moon disk, then you visualize those people whom, or any sentient being to whom you want to do. And then as you visualize, from the mantras, healing light energy and healing, natural energy flow, and then, curing, healing the illness of oneself, and also the person that you visualize at your heart on the moon, and then cleansing, purifying, and then giving them relief, pure, fully heal, and joy and happiness. So, yeah, so you can do that. Yeah. So you try to do that practice whenever possible. And when you are not possible, you can play that they can hear the mantras, especially with some, as I mentioned, sometimes you can find some really with nice, very suitable, soothing, chantable mantra together with the music that really calms someone's mind. So those can be also helpful. So, yeah. Any, please? Yes,
I
please.
think this one online, Gishla. Amanda, did you still want to ask a question?
Geshe already answered it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone? Before we do the practice? Yes, please.
the four immeasurables, may all sentient beings have happiness and so on. Would you also say may I all sentient beings have happiness, or just leave it at may all sentient beings?
May all sentient beings, you are included there.
Including us.
Yeah. Unless you are not sentient being. Yeah, yeah. So sometimes we dedicate when we do such practice, or even dedicate for all sentient beings, even though we don't have to dedicate specifically out when we dedicate all sentient beings, we are included there. Because we are one of the sentient beings. So yeah. But if someone feels more powerful, helpful to include specific names, then one can add all sentient beings, specifically this sentient beings who is struggling now, who is struggling with the illness, specifically these persons or that being or that. So yeah, so that can be done. Yeah. Okay. So what I thought is, we'll do a little practice, and hopefully we don't do the chicken meditation. So again, try to relax yourself. And try to keep your back straight. And focus on the breath for a few moments. Then try to generate positive, good intentions. You can get. And this practice meditation become cause and conditions to heal and cure all sentient beings who are experiencing physical, emotional, mental challenges, health issues. And we can try to remember everyone who needs those help. And may it be causing conditions to purify all the negative karma without the potential for any other future illness and problem. As well as to transform and heal all the destructive negative emotions and obscuration. And then may this practice meditation become cause and conditions to achieve our highest potential, the fully awakened state of medicine Buddha ourselves. So we can be helpful to heal and cure the illness of all sentient beings. And so that we can help them to achieve true, lasting, ultimate happiness. Not only temporary relief, temporary cure, but permanent cure and permanent happiness. And then you can visualize, imagine all sentient beings, all in human form, surrounding you, as vast as the space, engage in the practice. And especially if you want to dedicate and do the practice for someone, you can think of them in front of you. Also, we can think of all the leaders whose mind need to be healed and cured with all the negative feeling also in our practice in front of us. If you are doing someone who passed away, you can also think they are here, engage in practice together. So then I will read the visualization so that you can it will be more helpful. About 4 inches, above the crown of my head is a lotus flower. In the center of the lotus is the white moon disk, and seated on the moon disk is my root guru, the Dharmakaya essence of all the Buddhas, in the form of medicine Buddha. So he is our root guru, but in the form of medicine Buddha. He is blue in color. His body radiates blue light. His right hand in the mudra of grinding sublime realization rests on his right knee and holds the stem of Aurora medicinal plant between the thumb and the first finger. His left hand is in the mudra of concentration, holds lapis lazuli bowl filled with nectar. He is seated in the full Vasta positions and is wearing the three red color rose of the monk. He has all the signs and the quality of Buddha. And try to feel the presence of the medicine Buddha. Regardless of how well you can visualize or not. And it is a light body, radiating, alive, unconditional, unbiased love and compassion to each and every sentient being. Gazing and looking at all sentient beings with that compassionate eye. Out of that compassion, always, anytime, ready to help, ready to heal, help to heal, purify. Whenever we're ready. The medicine Buddha is the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, all in one. Generate a strong trust, confidence, and faith in the medicine Buddha, who is also the Dharma, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, all. and strong determinations or resolution to rely on the medicine Buddha. And go in refuge to the medicine Buddha, the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. From now until we achieve enlightenment. Never give up. Then we try to feel, understand and feel the pain and suffering of each and every sentient being that is surrounding us. Everyone has their own problem, pain and suffering. Just like ourselves, even though no one wishes suffering, even for a second, due to ignorance and the delusions and their actions. Everyone is experiencing some form of pain and suffering all the time. Even they wish happiness due to ignorance and due to their action, their struggles to find true happiness. So try to feel as much compassion, loving kindness as possible. The wish to free them from all the suffering, cause of suffering. And then there is a strong wish to lead them to happiness and cause of happiness. In order that I must achieve fully awakened state. Therefore, I'm going to do this practice of the medicine Buddha. Okay, so then we'll go to the practice, state number 7. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. By my practice of giving other professions, I become Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. By my practice of giving other professions, I become the Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. By my practice of giving other perfections, I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. So then while we recite the 4 images slowly, try to feel the words as much as possible. Don't just rush reciting it, but really feeling as much as possible to the all sentient being that is surrounding us. May all sentient beings have happiness and process of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and process of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from happiness that is without suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from both attachment and hatred, holding some cause others. They shall both chitta, especially for the benefit of all sentient beings. I will quickly, very quickly, attain the precious state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. For this reason, I will practice the yoga method of Guru Medicine Buddha. Then the 7th practice. I prostrate to Guru Medicine Buddha. Each and every offering, including those actually performed and those mentally transformed, I present to you. I confess all non-virtuous actions accumulated since beginning time. I rejoice in the virtues of both ordinary and noble things. As our guide, I request you, O Buddha, to please abide well and turn the wheel of Dharma until the samsara ends. All virtues, both my own and those of others, I dedicate to the ripening of true bodhisattvas and attainment of Buddhahood for the sake of both. This ground enriched with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meadow, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this feeling. The object of my attachment, aversion, ignorance, friends, enemies, strangers, and my body where they dormants, without any sense of loss, I offer this collection. Please accept with the pleasure and bless me to freedom from this toil. Idam Guru Rana Mandalakam Niyasaya. And the prayer of request. I beseech you, Bhagavan Medicine Buddha, those died holy body of the signifies omniscient mind and compassion as vast as limited space. Please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate medicine guru, who hold in your right hand the king of medicines, symbolizing your vow to help all clinical sentient beings plagued by the 424 disease. Please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate medicine guru, who hold in your left hand the bowl of nectar, symbolizing your vow to keep the glorious undying nectar of Dharma, that eliminates degenerations of sickness, old age, and death. Please grant me your blessings. Then we can visualize and imagine the Guru Medicine Buddha is extremely pleased with your request. And delightfully accept to bless us, to guide us, to help us, to cure, to relieve of all the illness, physical, emotional, mental illness, all the obscuration. Then you can bring back your attention to the breath for a few more. So then we go to page number 12. We do the shorter version today. And then to the last medicine Buddha. Instead of 7, we do 3 times. To you, Buddha, medicine guru, king of blackest light, fully realized the joy of all the divineness, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. I prostrate for refuge and make offerings. May your vows to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. To you, the Buddha, medicine guru, king of love's light, fully realized the joy of all the defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. To you, the medicine guru, king of love's light, fully realized, destroyed all the defilements, fully accomplished Buddha, who has fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. So then I will do the, again, recite the visualizations. So again, you try to so then your request has been again accepted very delightfully. Granting your request from the heart and the holy body of the King of Medicine Buddha, Guru Medicine Buddha. Infinite rays of white light pour down completely, filling your body from head to the toe. Yourself and also those that you want to do the practice, someone who is dealing with illness, someone who has passed away. They purify all your disease and afflictions due to the spirit and their causes, all the negative karma and mental obscuration. So it's like taking shower or flushing the toilet, completely cleansing, purifying all the illness, all the negative karma, future potential for illness and others suffering. All the defilement, obscuration being completely purified. In the nature of light, after being completely cleansed and purified of yourself or all this illness, negative karma, illusion, obscuration, in the nature of light, your body becomes as clean and clear as crystal, without any trace of any atoms of negative energy. Light rays pour down twice more, each time filling your body with a blissful, clean, clear light, which you observe, which dissolves into yourself. And you yourself dissolve into the light, and the light dissolves into emptiness. Meditate on that emptiness. Completely empty of this ordinary me or I, a person. Completely empty of that kind of solid inherent existence self. And feel the spaciousness, the empty, spacious, luminous. The wisdom that is aware of that emptiness is transformed into the holy body of medicine, good medicine Buddha. You become the medicine Buddha. Blue medicine Buddha, just like as described earlier. With all the signs and marks of enlightenment. At your heart appears a lotus and a moon disk. Your heart as a medicine Buddha. Standing at the center of the moon disk is the blue seed syllable hum. So you can visualize Tibetan hum. If you are not familiar with that, you can visualize English hum syllable. H-U-M, hum. And surrounded by syllable of the mantras, clockwise, all standing, the medicine Buddha. Satam Bekanda, Ma Bekanda, Randa Samogati Shloka, so all standing, all transparent. And those garlands of the mantra and hum syllable is not just an ordinary syllable, it's an enlightened, compassionate wisdom of the medicine Buddha, manifesting in that form, syllables, mantras, to cure, to heal. Physical illness, emotional, mental illness, obscuration completely. So as we recite mantra, visualize rays of light radiating out in all directions from the syllable at your heart. The light rays pervade, then pervade the all sentient beings or substance. Through the great love wishing them to be happiness, and through the great compassion, wishing them to be free from all suffering. They are purified of all their disease, afflictions, due to the spirit and their causes, all their negative karma, mental obscurations, being completely clear, cleansed, purified. So while keeping that visualizations, then we recite the mantras. So again, try to keep that visualization as much as you can. No. We do the long mantra one time and then short one. Om Namo Bhagavate Bekante Guru Benduraya Paparadaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samukate So. Then the short one. Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Banta Samukate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Banta Samukate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokade Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokade Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate Soha Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate So Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Maha Bekante Bekante Raja Samokate So Dayata Om Bekante Bekante Mahabe Kanzebe Kanze Bada Samo Kade Soha Ayata Om Be Kanzebe Kanze Mahabe Kanzebe Kanze Bada Samo Kade Soha Ayata Om Be Kanzebe Kanze Mahabe Kanzebe Kanze Rada Samoga Desoha Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Mahabe Kanze Be Kanze Rada Samoga Desoha Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Mahabe Kanze Be Kanze Rada Samoga Desoha. As we decide more, you can imagine, visualize yourself as the medicine Buddha from the heart of yourself as medicine Buddha, the garland, the mantra, the home syllable, white, bluish light, radiate in all 10 directions. And, curing and healing all sense and beings of all their physical illness. Emotional illness, whatever, fear, worry, anxieties, depression, self-doubt, self self-loathing, self-hatred. Whatever they are feeling, all of them being completely pure, healed of the negative karma, of the affective emotion, of the obscuration completely. Why do we try to keep that visualization as much as possible? Then you try to recite Tata Om De Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om De Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om De Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om De Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Tata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Ayata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Ayata Om Be Kante Be Kante Ma Be Kante Be Kante Kante Samo Kante So Ayata Om Be Kante Be Kante Mahabe Kanze Be Kanze Rata Samoga De Soha Dayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Mahabe Kanze Be Kanze Rata Samoga De Soha Tayata Om Kanzebe Kanzi Mahabe Kanzebe Kanzebata Samokate Soha Tayata Om Be Kanzebe Kanzi Mahabe Kanzebe Kanzebata Samokate Soha Tayata Ombe Kanze Be Kanze Mahabe Kanze Be Kanze Ranza Samo Gate Soha Tayata Ombe Kanze Be Kanze Mahabe Kanze Be Kanze Ranza Samo Gate Soha Tayata Be kanze be kanze ma be kanze be kanze rata samo kate soha rata om be kanze be kanze ma be kanze be kanze rata samo kate soha rata om be kanze be Mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata umbe kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha ayata be kanze be kanze mabe kanze be kanze kanza samo kate soha. So imagine, visualize with total convictions, all the illness have been completely healed, cured. All the negative karma have been completely cleansed, purified. All the negative emotions have been completely transformed. All the obscurations have been completely cleansed. All sentient beings become like crystal clear without any illness, negative karma, delusion, obscuration, without any negative energy. Completely cleansed and purified. As we recite a little bit more, we visualize the same thing. All the blessings of the life, body, speech, mind, and all the spiritual inner realization, such as unlimited unconditional love, compassion, both to the mind, wisdom, and so forth, in the heart of each and every sentient being. They're all filled with those inner realization. So while keeping that visualization, again, was inside. Ayata Om Be Kanse Be Kanse Maha Be Kanse Be Kanse Kansa Samudra Te Soha Ayata Be Kanse Be Kanse Maha Be Kanse Be Kanse Kansa Samudra Te Soha Ayata Om Be Kanse Be Kanse Mabe Kanse Le Kanse Rasa Samudra Te Soha Ayata Om Be Kanse Be Kanse Mabe Kanse Be Kanse Rasa Samudra Te Soha Ayata Om Be Kanse Be Kanse Mabe Kanse Be Kanse Kansa Samudra Te Soha Ayata Om Be Kanse Be Kanse Mabe Kanse Be Kanse Kansa Samudra Te Soha Ayata Om Be Kanse Be Kanse Mabe Kanse Be Kanse Rasa Samudra Te Soha. And so then you can visualize, imagine all sentient beings transform into medicine Buddha, all become Guru medicine Buddha. The whole space was filled with all the enlightened Guru medicine Buddha. And then we can think how wonderful that I'm now able to lead all sentient beings into the medicine Buddha enlightenment. Then all the medicine Buddhas dissolve into yourself. And the Guru, the medicine Buddha, yourself, all sentient beings who have become medicine Buddha, all become one, inseparable. Okay, so then with the dedication, test number 14. Due to the these merits, may I complete the ocean-like action of the Son of Victorious. May I become the Holy Savior, refuge and helper for sentient beings who have repeatedly been kind to me in past lives. By the virtues received from attending this practice, may all living beings who see, hear, touch, or remember me, even those who hear this name my name, in this very moment be released from their disease, experience happiness forever. As all sentient beings infinite space are in compassion by the Guru President Buddha's compassion, may I soon become the guide for sentient beings existing of the holy life of the world. Because of these virtues, may I quickly become the Guru President Buddha, lead each and every sentient being into that enlightenment. We take a few moments to dedicate all the virtues that we have created, for all who are experiencing illness, for all of them to cure, heal, and recover quickly and fully, and for all sentient beings to have healthy life, good health. We also visualize, and we especially those who are ill. And we also dedicate all these virtues for those who are dying or who have passed away, wherever they are, may they be free from all the pain, suffering, fear, all the negative karma. May they find perfect higher human rebirth. May the Dharma, actualize Dharma in their heart and achieve enlightenment. We also dedicate all these virtues to actualize the Bodhicitta mind and wisdom realizing emptiness within our mind stream, the mind stream of all sentient beings. Those who have already actualized, not to diminish, but increase morally. Sanjo Sanjo Rinpo Se Maje Pana Kejo Se Yawa Nyamba Meta Tongre Kongdo Teo. We also dedicate all the virtues. Due to all the virtues which are empty from its own side, created by all the Buddhas, both sort of others and one set, which are empty from their own side. May I, which is empty from its own side, achieve fully awakened state of medicine Buddha, which is empty from its own side. And free all sentient beings from all the which are empty from their own side. From all the suffering and cause of suffering, which are empty from their own side, its own side. Yawa de Yaduda Lama Sangye Jugone Doa Chitang Mandu Te Sala Peva. We dedicate for the long life of His Holiness the Lama and all the Buddha. Ade Dare Kore Shindam Te Pendam Dewa Madu Chongan. Chere Se Wang Tenzin Yatsoi Chabe Sete Pato Tenkyo. I guess there's for swift return of long to the long sorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think everybody's close copy of it. Is that one pray for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche?
Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of victorious ones, Savaka and Pratika Buddhas, victorious Losam, father and sons, alone with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge in infinite lands. Please bestow the virtue, goodness, or accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the moon is precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice. You owe the armor of patience that's never discouraged. Incomparable venerable Guru, to you our name request. While striving so quietly for the sake of victorious one teaching, the thought gave way through which all significant happiness emerged, and for the lovely things. You suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undisputed truth of blessings of the ocean of spiritual and the great waves of both children of children of victorious, may the smile of reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for the fortunate disciples. So thank you very much. That is for today.